Hello and welcome to In Focus here on TVP World. I'm Salia Strzemska. Together with our reporters, we have prepared stories about unique initiatives and the individuals behind them. So let's take a look. Polish Americans took over Manhattan on October 6th. The reason was the annual Pulaski Day Parade, one of the largest celebrations of Polish heritage outside of Poland. General Kazimierz Pulaski, considered a hero of the American Revolutionary War, is held in high esteem in both Poland and the United States. TVP World's Alex Sumliński reports.
The 87th Pulaski Day Parade has marched down Fifth Avenue here in the heart of New York City. Now, this parade is always organized on the first Sunday of the month, and that is because it is close to the anniversary of the death of General Kazimierz Pulaski, which was October 11th, and this happened during the American War of Independence. And now I'll leave you for a second with one of the organizers of this parade, who will tell you more about this Polish-American hero.
General Pulaski was a soldier that came from Poland here to the United States under the invitation of General George Washington to help him win our freedom from England, so that we here in America can enjoy the freedom that we are here today. Sadly, he lost his life at age 32, but he was one of the greatest heroes in the American Revolution.
This year, we are honoring
Now, October is Polish Heritage Month here in the United States, celebrating the contributions of Polish Americans to this country. Now, the atmosphere this year has been through the roof, and organizers have said that more than 200,000 spectators are expected. Now, so far we have seen many people marching down Fifth Avenue. These are all sorts of clubs, sports clubs, youth organizations, but we've also have seen cadets from the U.S. Military Academy of West Point who are studying there, as well as representatives of police and the fire department. And really, people of all ages come here to this event.
I came here 27 years ago. My kids were born up here, all of them, 5 of them. So they feel halfway Polish, halfway American. They're going to remember, and they do remember all those days when we come here and we celebrate the Polish Day Parade. That is awesome. It's awesome every single year. There's a lot of people coming from New Jersey to New York, plus New Yorkers that they feel like a Polish and they do remember being a Polish nationality in one day. So every year they remind themselves how to be a Polish community in America, especially in that difficult time of the war being a different time. We just met the people from Poland. They visit New York. They came yesterday. They just find out there's a Polish parade. They didn't even know about it. So that's another thing. A lot of people that don't even know back in Poland that there is something like that. There is a celebration of Polish Day in New York. That's good to remember, good to spread all around the world. Not even New York, not even United States, not even Poland, but all around the world.
I'm proud to be here on this day because it's so exciting to be here with my family and celebrate this day, especially in America where it's people back in Poland know that this is happening here, that's something so big. And it just makes me really happy and proud that even though I was born here, this is in my blood and this is what I'm proud to be and stand for. So being here with my family makes me incredibly happy today.
Whatever you do, don't ever forget where you came from and give back to your people. So I am here. I'm involved in this organization for over 40 years, as president, over 20 years, and I just enjoy doing it.
The Pulaski Day Parade has been taking place since 1937 and is one of the longest to march down Fifth Avenue. It takes place every year, regardless of the weather. For TVP World from New York City, Alex Tomlinski.
Established in 1901, the Nobel Prize remains one of the most prestigious honors a person can receive. Every year, October brings the Nobel Calling, a week of life-changing announcements from Stockholm. Natalia Komarov will tell you more about this year's laureates and their achievements.
It was a cloudy week in Stockholm, but the anticipation was showing no signs of cooling down. Each day, the Nobel Committee announced the names of laureates of the most prestigious award in the world. On Monday, the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences revealed the recipients of the prize in physics.
The Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences has today decided to award the 2024 Nobel Prize in Physics to John Hopfield, Princeton University, USA, and Geoffrey Hinton, University of Toronto, Canada, for foundational discoveries and inventions that enable machine learning with artificial neural networks.
For the Nobel Prize in Physics, John Hopfield and Geoffrey Hinton used fundamental concepts from statistical physics to design artificial neural networks that function as associative memories and find patterns in large data sets. These artificial neural networks have been used to advance research across physics topics as diverse as particle physics, material science, and astrophysics.
Some say this was an award for achievements in IT rather than physics, artificial neural networks, or a machine learning tool inspired by the human brain.
Well, it's about using computers to do faster what we do with our brains. So we can teach our computers now to work for us, for instance, on huge databases and look for analogies that we cannot find ourselves. So this is a very useful tool in science, but it also has incredible applications in biology, medicine, and so on. Also in regular life, where we can use these tools based on artificial intelligence, on, I don't know, face recognition, for instance, or other applications like this.
We use a lot artificial intelligence now, and hopefully it will be used for us, not only for military applications, which is also a case now we can observe.
On Tuesday, it was time for chemistry. The prize was shared between 3 researchers working on 2 projects in the same field. David Baker was awarded for computational protein design, while Demis Hassibis and John M. Jumper were recognized for protein structure prediction.
But there are new problems that humans face today. We're living longer, so there are new diseases. We're heating up the planet, we're polluting it. And so if we had a lot of time to wait, then new proteins might evolve to solve those problems. What we have done with protein design is discover how to make new proteins that can solve new problems.
Proteins are what everything in life depends on, and it's really important to understand how the structure of a protein, the 3D structure of a protein, looks like in the body to understand what it does. And so what AlphaFold does, our program, is it can predict that 3D structure just from the amino acid sequence, basically the genetic sequence of that protein.
Definitely the use of artificial intelligence and other computational methods accelerates research that is used towards something that might be used in medicine, so new drugs, new therapeutical approaches, biosensors, and perhaps also enzymes that can be used in materials and for industry.
The Nobel Prize in Medicine went to Victor Ambros and Gary Runfgun for the discovery of microRNA, very tiny, non-coding RNA molecules which tend to silence and destabilize mRNA.
We all know that our cells are very different. Liver cells are very different from nerve cells with different functions, appearance, and so forth. And that's because they use different genes. So how can that happen? And this prize, this discovery, very basic discovery, is about that.
Identification of such molecules leads to the possibility to elaborate a new therapies, because we can modulate the function of microRNA. We can also use these molecules as biomarkers. The increased or decreased concentration of microRNA can be a biomarker of a disease, an early stage even, especially in cancer diseases, in the diseases of central nervous system like Parkinson's disease or Alzheimer's disease, but also others, including cardiovascular.
Perhaps the biggest surprise of the week came on Thursday, when the recipient of the Prize for Literature was announced, and it was not one of the high-profile names in the literary world.
The Nobel Prize in Literature for 2024 is awarded to South Korean author Han Kang for her intense poetic prose that confronts historical traumas and exposes the fragility of human life.
Han Kang began her career as a poet in the early 90s, then moved on to prose and quickly began collecting Korea's biggest literary awards. Her most famous novel is The Vegetarian, which explores a family's dynamic after the mother decides to quit eating meat. Another one of her novels, White Elegy, was inspired by a winter she had spent in Warsaw. She's the first South Korean laureate of the Nobel Prize in Literature.
Yesterday was the Korean Alphabet Day. Today is the very next day, and I am happy, proud, and excited to learn that a South Korean author has won the most prestigious literary prize in the world for her books written in Korean. I waited for this moment for so long.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the Peace Prize for 2024 to the Japanese organization Nihon Hidankyu. This grassroots movement of atomic bomb survivors from Hiroshima and Nagasaki, also known as Hibakusha, is receiving the Peace Prize for its efforts to achieve a world free of nuclear weapons.
From the point of view of humanity, Hiroshima was a human error that led to a catastrophe. We're not interested in splitting hairs with the United States.
Some people think that it's enough to reduce the number of nuclear arms, and that they aren't a problem as long as they're not being used. For us, it's unacceptable. We cannot accept that atomic bombs still exist on Earth.
The Nihon Hidankyu has played a crucial role in upholding and maintaining the nuclear taboo, the norm against the use of nuclear weapons, by stigmatizing them as morally unacceptable and weapons that should never be used again.
Between NATO's yearly nuclear drills, Russian state media daily rattling of the nuclear saber, and the Middle East conflicts fast approaching a tipping point, maybe this award was meant as a reminder of the horrors that wars could lead to in a world with nuclear weapons.
And now on a domestic note, the areas of Poland affected by the largest flood in 20 years are slowly recovering. Nicknamed Operation Phoenix, the rescue and rebuilding effort involves thousands of Polish soldiers. Here's more from Kazimierz Łysiak.
We are currently in the town of Głuchołazy in southern Poland. This was one of the first places to be hit by the massive floods in September. Now, we all remember the horrific pictures of the bridge, which is right behind me, which was taken down by the flood wave. As you can see, most of it is destroyed. Now, today, we have here soldiers from the Polish Armed Forces, the engineers, who came here under Operation Phoenix to help rebuild this place. If you can follow me for for just a moment, you will see here this temporary bridge, which was set up by them in just 3 days. And on Friday, they will take it up with a huge crane and place it back over here, over the river. The soldiers who are here, they have been cooperating with the locals, bringing repairs, helping people around here to bring this place back to normal.
I've been here since September 16th. The difference is striking. We managed to clean up a lot. The roads are now accessible and there is much less trash on the streets. We put up several temporary bridges before this one to allow emergency services to cross quickly.
On Thursday, one of the Polish parliamentary committees presented a report of the works of soldiers under Operation Phoenix. Currently, there are about 30,000 soldiers helping with repairs all over the country, trying to bring all these places not only back to normal, but better, so they can defend themselves in the future against the effects of such floods. From Głuchołazy, TVP World, Kazimierz Łysiak.
Polish film Under the Volcano has been chosen to compete in the Best International Feature Film category at the Oscars. The 97th Academy Awards will be revealed on March 3rd next year. The Polish premiere of the film took place on Friday. TVP World's Klaudia Sikorska spoke with the filmmakers on the red carpet. Take a look.
No worries, it's a summertime.
Narrated from the perspective of 16-year-old Sofia, the movie tells the story of a blended Ukrainian family that spends the last day of their vacation on Tenerife. When Russia's invasion of Ukraine strands them on the island, they must contend with isolation, duty, fear, and each other, the feature's logline says. The script was written by Damian Kocur and Marta Konarzewska, with Kocur also serving as the director. Under the Volcano premiered at the Toronto Film Festival this September.
The screenings in Toronto, there were like a lot of people. The feedback was good generally, but I just came back from Zurich like yesterday, and the people were super interested, and the most of the cinema stayed for Q&A, and that was kind of shock for me because the people really wanted to know how we made the film. They went into details and questioning. So yeah, I mean, so far the audience abroad is really, really nice.
The family's guilt over being unable to help their countrymen is contrasted with the safety of their holiday setting, which gradually causes their relationships to fall apart.
What would you do if someone attacks your country and you're abroad? Are you gonna go back and fight, or are you gonna run away and take care of your family? And how to look at the eyes of your friends who just staying there.
As Sofia Berezowska admitted, at first she did not want to be a part of the film. At the 49th Film Festival in Gdynia, she was awarded in the category of the Best Professional Acting Debut.
It was scary to work. It was really new for me to work. It was new people, new country, everything new. Like to work in film industry, it's crazy for me. It's still crazy for me. So, yeah, I just challenged myself and thought like, okay, I can do it.
The 97th Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences Awards Gala is scheduled for March 2nd, 2025.
And now moving to Latin America. Amid the mist-covered peaks of northeast Peru, a determined group of women beekeepers achieved the impossible. They have pulled their hives back from the brink of death. This is a tale of entrepreneurship and resilience. Laura Hazanov has more.
Amid the mist-covered peaks of northeast Peru, a determined group of women beekeepers have pulled their hives back from the brink of death in a tale of entrepreneurship and resilience. Nestled in a remote village of Chilatalamasid, a community of women have faced the ominous signs of a changing climate head-on. Their home, a village of 800 souls in Peru's Camaha region, has been repeatedly ravaged by heavy rains, merciless droughts, frost-laden winds, and hail. The unrelenting forces have upended the delicate ecosystem on which the bees depend. Nectar and pollen have become scarce amid the unpredictable weather patterns which disrupt the flowering season. In the early months of 2022, rains battered the land, trapping the bees inside their hives and making them slowly succumb to starvation.
When we checked the hives, we found the boxes full of dead bees.
Months after they secured $27,000 in climate funding from the United Nations, they were staring ruin in the face.
We asked ourselves, what are we going to do? If we don't take action, the bees will disappear, the project will collapse, and our organization will fail.
The women devised a plan to compensate for the bees' depleted food resources, feeding them with a syrupy mix of sugar and vitamins. They also had their eyes out for the future. Using the grant money, they surrounded the hives with native plants and flowers, including aerium lilies and coffee plants. Known for their resistance against the wind and rain, the vegetation later spread into the forest, expanding the bees' habitat. The association now successfully operates 89 beehives, making about $13,000 a year. Despite immense challenges posed to habitats around the world, bee populations are on the rise. In part due to conservation efforts, an increase of 47% have been noted in bee colonies worldwide.
The Great Salt Lake in the U.S. state of Utah, one of the world's largest lakes, has lost 2/3 of its surface in just 40 years. This is due to a number of factors, including agricultural sector, mining industry, and global warming. Faced with this environmental challenge, the state has spent $1 billion to prevent the area from drying up completely. Here's the full story.
Things are changing. Whether it's naturally caused, whether we're having an impact on it, that's up for debate. The reality is we have warmed up, and that does have an impact on natural systems like Great Salt Lake. When we looked at the decline, what I said was there was a potential for the equivalent of an environmental nuclear bomb if we don't take some pretty dramatic action. I think for us in Utah, we look at what is going to be best for us here and how do we address these situations and these concerns.
It's scary that it's getting so small and you see like a big picture from an aerial view, and that's when it really hits how small it is.
You had to definitely raise the motor on the boats to get in and out of the channel some days. And it was just really, really low. None of the sailboats were actually in the water. A lot of them were up in the parking lot. If you look at the historic trend of the lake, probably every 20 years it gets really low, and it gets really, really high, then really low. So this is kind of like the natural flow to it.
It's getting people to think about the lake more, but connecting that with climate change is a pretty hard task. Utah is pretty conservative.
I know it's a concern, and it's worrisome that we're losing it because we're losing all that ecology, and then there's a lot of talk about the toxic dust that's gonna, blow up.
I haven't joined the religion of climate change yet. I do agree that we don't need to pollute our environment, that we need to do everything we can not to.
As the lake has receded,
it has exposed more than 800 square miles of lake bed. And just to put that into perspective, 800 square miles is about the same surface area as the island of Maui in Hawaii.
Hungary is not planning on cutting their imports of Russian gas anytime soon. On the contrary, the country's foreign minister confirmed that Budapest is looking to increase Russian gas deliveries to Hungary via Russia's second largest gas company. Franciszek Pilis has the story.
Gas is one of the oldest and most popular energy sources to this day, and Russia has a lot of it. While exports of Russian gas have significantly lowered since Moscow's troops entered Ukraine on Putin's orders, some countries refuse to stop importing gas from Russia just because of ethics. One of those countries is Hungary, which doesn't like the prospect of sourcing its gas from other suppliers despite many calls to do so from fellow EU members.
We have a common policy called REPowerEU that aims at quitting Russian gas, Russian resources in general until 2027. You have no sanctions for not following this policy, and you have Bratislava and Budapest leading a clearly pro-Russian climate and energy policy.
As a matter of fact, Budapest wants to increase their imports of Russian gas, confirmed by Hungarian Foreign Minister Petr Szijjártó and Russia's Gazprom. Given the volatile nature of the war in Ukraine and the fact that a 5-year deal between Kyiv and Moscow on Russian gas transit via Ukraine to Europe will expire on December 31st, Hungary has also started to look for alternative ways to have the resource transported. Enter Turkey, which imports its gas from Russia via the Turk Stream pipeline. If the gas is routed through that pipeline and then its connection with South Stream Light, it would end up in Hungary all the same.
Hungary is not going to be affected by the halt of the transit through Ukraine. It's Slovakia, Austria, and Moldova and partially Italy that will be affected by the Ukrainian gas transit halt, but everyone can deal with that. So it's very important to note not to sow any panic. There is enough gas in the region to replace all Russian gas flows.
So far, no concrete details besides the fact that Hungary's state-owned energy company MVM and Gazprom signed a memorandum of understanding have been revealed. However, it is safe to say that Russian gas will likely still be used in Europe for the foreseeable future.
And that will be all in this episode of In Focus. Thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for more here on TVP World.